So shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. So hello guys, welcome back to our Learning Saturday webinar. So I am Vikram Kodak, senior Android developer in Mindbrowser. So Mindbrowser is presenting this event every month with a very brand new topic for you guys. So many of you might have been joined before this event. So let's see what we can learn in this webinar. So in today's webinar, we are going to learn how to develop a messenger app using Firebase with a small example demo. So before we start, what exactly the Firebase Messenger and how to develop, I just want to short introduction of who are presenting this webinar. So my colleagues are Ashok Kumbar, Krupa, Priyanka, and me. So let's start. So webinar, let's see what we are going to learn today. So the basic, we are learning the basic messenger app with a database structure, and here we have implemented only a text messenger app with maximum utilization of non-SQL data and with best query power of Firestore. The basic messenger app, in sense, we are only implemented the text messenger app at here. Then we have included the Firebase auth, how the Firebase auth exactly works, and how to implement that Firebase auth. Everything is covered at here. Then the Firebase functions, triggers, and push notifications. So how to create Firebase functions, how to create Firebase triggers, how to create push notification, how to send the push notification to any particular device and any particular channel. So all these things are covered at here with the all the best practices we have implemented. So let's see what the points we are going to cover in this webinar. First is the Firebase introduction, the short Firebase introduction we have covered it here. Firebase auth and user data adding, chat messaging data structure, uh, then Firebase functions introduction, how to write Firebase functions, and Firebase functions with notification implementation, and with complete example with small notification. So let's start our webinar with just Firebase introduction. So Google Firebase is a Google backend application development software which allows developers to develop Android, iOS, and web apps for reporting and fixing app crashes, track analytics, creating marketing and products experiment, etc. Firebase actually provides several tools, like you can see on slide that it provides a real-time database, fire cloud storage, authentication, messaging, storage, hosting, crash reports, all the things included, reporting, remote config, app indexing, also dynamic links. All the things are provided by Firebase. These are the services provided by Firebase, but we are mostly focused on four uh, main services. In the four main services are real-time database, cloud, Firestore, user authentication, and hosting. So we can use these services with the help of Firebase SDK to create without writing any server code. So this is basically a serverless solution the Firebase has been provided to us. So they have provided only some SDKs for every each and every language. So with the use of that SDKs and with the utility classes, we are able to write the codes and use the features. So this is just an introduction of what actually Firebase is. Then we have a lot of stuff in our pipeline. So the next part of is Firebase authentication. My colleague Priyanka will explain how Firebase authentication will work. So up to you, Priyanka.
Okay, thank you, Vikram. Hello all, I'm Priyanka More, software developer in Mindbrowser. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So as we know, Firebase is a collection of tools and complete solution for backend. It handles the authentication as well. So here in this session, I will give you a short introduction about authentication. First, I want to ask one question. What is authentication and why do we need authentication? So anyone, you can put message in chat so that I can see. So I will tell. As we it is used by the server to know who is exactly accessing the data, or it's like a identity verification who is accessing our information. For this purpose we use Firebase. For this purpose we use authentication. Here I will explain you how Firebase help us to achieve this. In the Firebase tools, we have one option that is called Firebase authentication. Here we will see what is Firebase authentication, how does it work, what are the methods available, and how user management work in this. So we will see what is Firebase authentication. Next slide, please. Technically, it is a feature of authentication that provided by Firebase as its backend services. This is a token-based authentication system that provides easy integration with most of the platforms. So, in short, by using this tool, we can handle the security, and it is very easy to know to server who is accessing our information. So users sign into our app using the system they have already used, or and they have trust on that system. Your app can then save the user's data securely in the cloud and provide the same personalized experience across all their devices. So this is the Firebase authentication. Now we will see how does it work so that you will get more clear idea about the authentication. So next slide, please. So here in this diagram, we can see how does it work. First, we get credentials from the users for the sign in. The credentials can be users email address, password, or auth token from the identity provider. We then pass these credentials to the SDK. Backend service will then verify those credentials and return a response to the client. After a successful sign-in, we can access the user's access data stored on the Firebase products like on Firebase Store or any other Firebase real-time database. We can access users' basic profile information as well. We can provide authentication token to verify the identity of users in our backend services. An authenticated user can read and write data to the Firebase real-time database and cloud storage. We can control access of authenticated users by modifying the Firebase database rules and storage security rules. So we don't need to worry about our security of our data. So uh, now we will see with by using which methods we can achieve this, or which methods we can use. So next slide, please. So Firebase provides multiple methods for the authentication. Basically, they have divided in two methods. Like one is Firebase UI authentication method and Firebase SDK authentication method. First, we will see UI methods. In UI methods, we will be it's a way to add all complete sign-in system to our app, where Firebase provides a user interface with them. The Firebase provides a drop-in auth solution which used to implement authentication on mobile device and websites, and it is easily customized because the code is in the uh, all code is open source. So we don't need to worry if I have a different styles in my application and I have used different themes for my application. So how I can use the Firebase UI inbuilt UI. So we can customize that UI with our as per our requirements. So it is very means here we are getting a complete setup for our authentication. And the two and the second method is Firebase SDK authentication method. In this another type of method, the SDK methods provides for the creating and managing users who use their email address and password to sign in. And with the signing, it also handles the other methods like reset password, forget password, change password. And if we want to verify the email address, we can verify email address by sending email on their registered email address. We will see. uh, First, it provides the email and password authentication using SDK. Like here, we in this method, user can enter their email and password. And if you want to verify that email address, we can send verification email on their registered email. By using phone number also, we can achieve this uh, authentication process. We can send SMS on their entered email, entered phone number. And with the verification of that code, we can able to sign in. And we can integrate with identity providers, we can sign in with Google password, uh, Facebook, Twitter, and GitHub accounts. So we can connect our application with the existing systems as well. So by using that, we can achieve we can access the real-time database and other Firebase services. We can create temporary anonymous account by using Firebase, so that we can access all the features which we want to use with the Firebase. So these are the methods we have in Firebase in authentication part. As per our requirement, we can choose any of the, and we can process for our application. So here one question comes in our mind: how I modify all these things which I have entered already? Like if I in many of the application, we can modify our profile later on. So we don't need to worry about that also. In Firebase authentication, user management is also, they have uh, provided so many methods to achieve that functionality as well. So we will see user management. Next slide, please. Mm. So these are some methods. We will see one by one. Once we create our profile, most of the times we want to change our name, we want to update our profile picture, or we want to change our password. We can do all these things by using here in this management, users management. To We can create a user, we can get the currently signed in user in our application. We can upload, or we can set the user's profile, or we can get that user's profile which we have uploaded or set at the time of registration. We can update that user profile also. We can if you want to change the email address, we can do. And after that also, we can verify that newly entered email address. uh, so we can set a password, reset password. And if you want to delete user, we can do that also. If you want to re-authenticate user after particular some time for our security reason, we can achieve that also. And uh, we can give all the specific profile information in the Firebase users object. So all these things we can handle or do very easily with the call of only one method. So this is the best solution for our Firebase for our authentication process. Now we will see the next part is database structure. Vikram will explain to you in detail. He have a very good understanding regarding Firebase data structure. Thank you. Vikram, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. So guys, now let's discuss about the database structure part. So as I already mentioned, the database structure has been designed with taking care of all the querying power of Cloud Firestore database. So here I have mentioned one sentence like one word like Firebase Firestore database. So first we will introduce what actually the Firestore database is. So Cloud Firestore data store is a hierarchical data structure. It stores the data in document organized by collections. So the document contains hierarchical data of complex JSONs. So it is same like real-time database, but it stores the data in collection with followed by document references. So the document also contains the sub collections, and sub collections contains the each their documents, and this tree will be go to the nth of length. So now let's discuss about the our collections which use for generating the messaging app. So here first we discuss about the user collection, contact collection, and messaging collection. So first we start with our user collection. So here you can see the user collection data structure. So in user collection, what we have stored that the documents are stored under the auth user ID. It is already specified by Priyanka. So what actually mean by auth user ID? When user get logged into Firebase auth, the Firebase SDK will provide us one user ID, unique user ID or auth ID. With that auth ID, we have created the document ID. So you can see as a user with user ID as a auth user ID as a document ID, and with that document data we have stored under it. So now the question is why we have stored the document with this data structure. Because as you have basic knowledge of, I think we have basic knowledge of Firestore database. So I'm just directly saying how to write queries. So when you are writing any query to your database, you just search on your the document any document field. So you can write query and to get data of user, you can write query on your user ID. So you just write that get data from user collection with document ID. With the document ID, the user ID contains some auth user ID. So here what exactly the Firebase do? The Firebase search the all the documents in your collection, and with that document you can get with user ID matches, you get that record. But what we have done, we have already added that user ID at document ID. Then you directly what you can do, you can write query to get direct that document, not search the user ID. You just write the user collection slash with the document auth user ID, then you directly get to this user ID. So as I already mentioned, we have taken care of all the query power and database structure. So this is just a user database collection. So we have maintained this user data at here. So what exactly the user data contains of the created date time, the email ID of that user, Firebase or token for push notifications, the name of user, profile image of that user, updated date time, what exact time the user collection has been updated, and the user ID. User ID is nothing but the auth user ID. So this is just a user collection data. Then we will move towards our contact collection and message collection. So I will show on Firebase console how the contact and collection messages are collections are created. So yeah, so I think you guys can able to see my screen. So here is a contact collection. What exact the contact collection means? The contact is nothing but the conversation of two members. So the conversation of two members has been stored in a contact collection. So what exact the contact collection we have structure has been maintained. So in contact, the documents are maintained unique document ID. So that document ID we have said that the conversation ID. So with that conversation ID, we have stored documents with last message. The last message has been sent by user. So the conversation means exactly what you can see the contacts with last message and unread message count when the last message has been updated. So the context has been shown at there. So what the fields we have maintained at here: last message date time, last message sender id. Then we have maintained the members array. So how many members has been participated in this conversation, we have maintained their array, user ids in array. So here how this is the best structure, so I'm going to explain it. So with this data structure, you can handle one-to-one chat also. With group chat also, you can handle in with this only data structure. With if there are multiple users are participating in conversation, you just add the members at here only. So then you are able to get the conversation of that user, right? So with the then we have added the profile data at here. So why the profile data has been added at here? So basically the Firestore or with the non-SQL database, what we have one limitation, like we cannot able to get the data from multiple collections at a single time. So we have maintained the duplicate data at conversation. Because of getting the data at very easily, we can get the data. So maintaining data at here, what we have achieved at here is the updation of data has been more efficient than reading data from multiple users. So we have implemented the same thing at here. Then we have one attribute called unread message count. So this data structure can be explained in detail while you are getting example, while showing to demo to you guys. So this is the contact or conversation data. So we will move towards our next collection, that is a message collection. This is a straightforward collection we have maintained. Like with message, the documents are stored under a unique ID that is called as a message ID. With that message ID, we have stored the documents, and document contain what exact the conversation ID. This is a reference from the conversation ID where from who conversation the message is from. So the conversation ID is stored at here, and the message, what exact the text message is, the message ID, receiver ID, sender ID, who is the sender of that message, and timestamp of exact timestamp of that message. So this data is maintained in this message collection. So this is the just basic database structure. So so while implementing the code, and while I'm showing the example, I will explain in detail how this data structure is being efficient and how the query is going to be written. So here, this is the just database structure introduction. Next part, we will see the cloud Firebase functions. So how to write the cloud Firebase functions implementation at client end. My colleague Priyanka will explain you. Then we will see the small example demo. So Priyanka, up to you.
Yes. So, what is Firebase Cloud Messaging Notification? So, Firebase Cloud Messaging provide a reliable and battery efficient connection between your server and device that allow you to deliver and receive messages and notification on iOS, Android, and other web applications with no cost. This is the theoretical part. Let's take an example to understand it easily. When someone send a message to you, and at that time you got notification that this person has sent you a message, and whatever message they are sending, we can able to see in our notification screen on our phone or on our device. And it can be achieved by using FCM. So we can see one more example to understand it more clearly. Sometimes we get notifications from Swiggy or or any other applications like Ola, Uber. These applications nowadays we use a lot. So we get message like from Swiggy, you must be hungry, and also you can save 50% on your order of above 300 rupees, like this. So we are achieving this also by using FCM. There are two type of message scenario we have in Firebase Cloud Messaging. The first one is notification message, and second is data message. So first we will see notification message. So in Firebase Cloud Messaging, FCM automatically displays the message to the uh, end user device on behalf of the client app. That means I don't need to write any code for creating notification. For example, I have my own product, and now I want to update some features, and I want to notify all the users which are using my application. Then I can broadcast the message through the notification. That means all users which have my application installed in their phone, they will get notified. So in and the second type is data messaging. The example of data message, like I have developed a one chat application, and now I want to implement that notification from messages. But there are some requirements, like notifications should not show when the chat screen is open, and that notification must go to that particular person with whom I am chatting, or with who I'm sending a message. In this case, I need to develop notification functionality using data messages, so that in this case we can write code with some required condition, and then uh, we can generate notification from our end. So these major differences we have in notification messages and data messages. So so in short, in notification messages we can't set any conditions, or we don't need to write any code. But in data messages we can set conditions, and we can add code, like when all the conditions will get satisfied, then and then only send the notification. So this is the overview of our Firebase Cloud Messaging. In detail how we write functions and all we will see in our Firebase Messenger app. So next part is Firebase functions. So Ashok will explain you in details what is Firebase functions and how we use it. So Ashok.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. Hello guys, I am Ashok Kumbar, software developer in Mind Browser. Now we will see the Firebase cloud functions. So in that we can see the what are cloud functions, what can cloud functions do, how do you create a cloud functions, write a Firebase triggers, and send FCM notification using functions. So, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So Firebase functions are the serverless framework. We don't need to write any code for the backend. Firebase let you automatically run your code, backend code in the responses to event triggered by Firebase features, and also the HTTP requests. Firebase cloud functions are not needed to set up and maintain our own server. Instead, you can write and deploy your code on Firebase function, and it will automatically respond to your app. So for that, we need an programmed environment in the Node.js. So integration with the Firebase features, we can use the Firebase store, Firebase storage, and Firebase uh, all the features which are introduced by the Firebase. Next slide. So what can cloud functions do? So cloud functions will help us to use the Firebase features. We can integrate Firebase features, tools, and you can use it. We can handle new user authentication, and also we can send an welcome emails to a new user registration. Also, we can make entries in database for the new user details. Also, we can use the Firebase function to delete an data when user account has been deleted. Like we can delete the chat logs using the Firebase function. When we use that, we trigger will get called, and he will do us the everything to delete. Okay. So you can even create a web API using the data that we can share with anyone, and anyone can use it, like any external web APIs. So, next slide. Vikram, next slide. Okay. So how do you create a function? So in that, first we need to create an Firebase project, and we have to set up the environment in our system. So cloud function runs on Node.js. So we need to have a Node.js installed in our system. When we have done with it, you need to install the Firebase tools, and the command is we are showing on the screen. So command is like npm install -g Firebase tools. So -g is used for the global installation. So that will help us to install the Firebase tools on our system. Then we need to log in into our Firebase account to use our Firebase project. So after installing the Firebase tools, to check that Firebase is installed completely or not, you have to hit the Firebase on the terminal. So you will get all the commands in a terminal. So you can use that command to log in or any other function. So you need to log in using the Firebase login command. So if you are already logged in, then you need to proceed for the next, and else it will redirect you to the Firebase login. So if you are already logged in, then sometimes you need to log out and log in again, or you can just refresh your token using the Firebase login reauth command. So that will create a new token. So that will help you to use your Firebase app in your system. So next slide. Okay. So how do you create a function? For that, we have to hit the Firebase init command. So you will see the list of Firebase CLIs like database, Firestore, functions, hosting, and storage. So select the functions by pressing spacebar and hit the enter. So you will get the list of your projects. So next slide, please. So you will see the options like use an existing project, create a new project. If you have already created a project, then select the use existing project, and if you want to create a new, then you can select that option and hit enter. So you will get the next option for selecting a language. So Firebase functions are used in two languages, that are JavaScript and TypeScript. But the TypeScript is the preferred language by the Google. So we can mostly use the preferred language for the functions. Then we have to install the dependencies. They will ask for the dependency installation. We have to write an S, and that will get installed in your project. Okay. So you have to then you have to import required modules for your function, then start writing your function. Okay. So for testing that function locally, we have to hit the Firebase serve command to test that function locally. And if it will work, then you can deploy your code on Firebase. To all take place using one command on terminal, that is Firebase deploy. So that will deploy your all code on the Firebase, and that will help us to use the Firebase function. Okay. So now we will see the FCM messages. Like with FCM, we can send type of messages to the client. The Firebase messages automatically thought of the displaying messages. So next slide. Okay. So notifications have a payload. Then you have to use the two types of messages, like Priyanka explained you, the notification message payload, and other is data only messages. So notification messages automatically used by the handled by the FCM SDK, and other is like Fire. Notification messages contains the prefaced set of user keys, and data messages can contain which are handled by the client. So data messages by construct contains only user defined custom key value pairs. So notification messages also contains the data payload, but it is optional. So next slide, please. Okay. So the data messages payload contains the data. So differentiate between them is like we can differentiate using that key. If we have a notification in that payload, so that is the notification message payload. And if we have a data in it, so it will consider as a data message payload. Using that, we can achieve our notifications. Yeah. Now I am going to hand over it to my friend Vikram. So he will explain you the complete example with notifications. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok. So, guys, let's start with a small demo. So, what we have implemented. Okay. Okay. So, I think you guys are able to see my screen. So, this is a small demo example written in Android. So, I have two devices. So, because we have implemented chat messaging, so we need two devices. So, I have created auth user login or sign up. So, with sign up, you can check with the email ID, name, password, and a profile image that is stored on Firestore, Cloud Firestore. So I have already created sign up with some users. So I just logged in with that users only. So both the users are getting logged in. Okay. So you can see here my user is already logged in here. Yeah. Because of network issue, this mobile got stuck, but this device is already logged in. So you can see it here, like, just a minute. Yes. So both got logged in. So you can see it here is a contact list. You can say that is a conversation list. So as like WhatsApp or any chat messenger apps, you can see the contact list. Then to add any user to contacts, you can add on click on button. So you can see all the users are presented at here. Then click on that user. We are directly adding to our conversation list. So if you want to add any user, so I will click at here on second phone uh, and add user. So there are some users which I want to add at here. So I want to add. So I want to add Krupa in my conversation. I will click on that. The Krupa is going to add at my camera. First of that, I have checked that if Krupa has been already added at my contact list or not. So once if the Krupa is not added at my contact list, then user is added. So you can check at here. The Krupa is added at my conversation list. So here I can start communication with one user. So I will start with one user, like send one message to him, hi. So instantly that message is received at so you can say that this user sent one message and Ashok received that message, hi message. So I have written a hello message to him, then the hello message has been get immediately displayed at here. So I will show the notification part also when I'm not on that conversation screen. So if I have sent any so when I send any message to user, so unread message count is get updated at here, and last message has been seen at you can see at here, and at the top of your screen you can see the notification. So that new message is from Vikram. So this is your the what exactly the message is. When you click on that message, you directly redirect to the conversation. So this is just a small example, a small demo example. So how we have implemented, I will show the Android code to you guys. So for writing that, what we have done is I have created one Firebase repository with all the utility classes provided by Firebase. I have written at in Firebase repository. In that, I have created login with email ID, password, create user, auth, sign in with email ID and password, sign out user, Firestore create, create and update, Firebase create or merge, Firebase delete. We can also write, I have written batch write also. We can write up to 500 records at once. So this is the best feature provided by Firestore. Then document read by single value event listener, document read by event listener with real-time data listeners are there. So query listeners with child event listeners, that child has been added, modified, or removed. Then offline read and write, then upload to the cloud storage. So this is some utility classes provided by the Firebase. I have added it here. So then I have created one linked index linked hash map to maintain the user child added data. So I have created this. So how you are going to use, I will show you. So first of all, we will see in example what we are going to see is this the users list. So how the users list are getting fetched. So with that user, that is just a simple one. Yeah, I have written only get users. So with all users, I have written to get all users and updated to the Firestore. So how the query has been written, like Firebase database table reference, user table collection reference, then order by name. I am getting all the data with child event listener. So child event listener, I will update my child events, like if child is added or updated or removed, then all users has been added at here. And with that user, how you can see it in adapter. So you can see it, I have only updated notified only that data which has been updated or added, updated or delete. So this, for this I have created index and link hash map. So while adding any, as I have shown to you, when click on any user, when click on any user, sorry. So when click on any user, you can see that the selected user is already in contact. So I have to check if the user is already in contact or add on that contact. So I have added one query like read contacts by members. So what members are? So the contacts, the members are the array of that user IDs which are participated in this conversation. So the members is array. So we need to write a query based on this array, the user IDs. So the Firebase has provided us one query power with wherein query you can get the users by list, that wherein members contains the list. So here wherein actually what exactly the wherein is done, the wherein is exactly match the order of that user list. So you can see here I have added two lists, that order of that user in one list I have added user ID at first position and user 2 at second position, and the same order in reverse order in array list 2, user ID at second position and user ID at first position. Here the array has been passed to the where query. So while fetching this data, you need indexing. So indexes are also written. So the composite indexes are written by me. So here you can see the contact. So members of array, and updated by last date time in descending order. So this indexing you need to do for fetching data from contact list. So what I am doing is with that user ID, my local database user ID and user ID, with both the user IDs, I am checking that this already the conversation is already been happened or need to create another conversation. If the data is getting from that conversation query, so I'm displaying only that this contact list has been your this user is already in your contact list. If not, then I'm creating the conversation. So with that, the what exactly the conversation contains is the conversation ID, the unique conversation ID, last message sender ID, the members. So this is the conversation data. So with that conversation data, you just write, create the conversation data only. So this is about the user creating conversation and that. So with conversation, so what how we get the conversation data. So what I'm talking about this conversation data. So how this conversation is data is getting. So I have written query for that. So you can see get contacts of that user only, the local user I have stored with local user ID. I'm getting that contacts. So where array contains returns me the what actually exactly what I needed with the array contents of my user ID. So if this array contains my user ID, any one it matches, then it will return the document. So with that user ID, I will get my contacts. So with that contacts, I'm showing it here. So the main part of what we have is chat messages. So how we are getting these chat messages like, so we are storing the conversation ID at place in our table. So get messages. So get messages. How I have written queries with conversation and I'm getting from that on click of that conversation. So with that conversation ID, what I'm getting is conversation ID is equal to that where equal to conversation ID and ordered by timestamp ascending order with this data. So I have written query for that also, and for that I have created indexing also. So you can see that the messages for conversation ID ascending and timestamp descending or ascending. So this is how you are getting the chat messages data. So while sending data, here is one trick. So what exactly what we are doing is while sending data. So here, send message. So while sending data, what we are doing is getting the message and create the message with message data. So what we are doing, we are getting that message where message object has been created at previously. What message contains is, or message contains conversation ID, message ID, receiver, sender ID. All the attributes are added at there. Then with at the same time, what I am doing it here, I'm updating the contact map also with that conversation ID also. What I'm doing is when you are sending data, so you can check when you are sending the data, you are updating this message data also and updating this over conversation also. So both the collections are updated at same time. So that's why what I have done is I have written one batch write operation at here with exactly what is that with the contact table. I have updated only last updated message, last message sender ID, which is my user ID, last message unread count. What exactly the unread count is, 0 or 1, I have to update. Then write a batch write. So with that batch write, the data is being updated. So I will let you show how the exactly data is looking right at here. So when I write any, see, I'm sending good morning to him. So here data is updated and your data is updated at collection conversation data also. So your last message is this, and this is an unread message because this message is not read by the receiver. So when I read that message, the unread count is getting disappear. So this is a just implementation of with best practices for Android. As of now, you can use this data structure and everything for any of your language. So here, this is the only for Android implementation. We will check for notification how the Firebase trigger has been written. So here, the Firebase trigger has been written. So my colleague Ashok has been explained you how to write Firebase function, how to initiate it, create Fire project, how to log in, how re-log in, how to deploy the functions. So I just have written that Firebase function at here. So with Firebase function, I have created admin SDK access. With admin SDK access, I'm just what I'm doing is at here is creating one Firebase trigger. So how the Firebase trigger create is to create a Firebase trigger with on messaging table. If any data has been written or updated to the Firebase, I will get trigger at here. So once I will get the data, what exactly data has been added. So I'm getting data of receiver user and the sender user. With why the receiver and sender user we needed is we need to get the push notification token at from receiver, and that push notification token I have added. So my colleague has been explained you like to write push notification. We have two payloads like notification payload and data payload. So notification payload has been added at here, and that we have using only data payload. So with data payload, we can manage the things very smoothly. So I have added only data payload. So with that data payload, I have created one push notification function, like tokens are added at here and created messaging to the to send the push notification. So once the push notification has been created, send it, then log message is displayed, that message is been sent. If there is an error, I have added here at that, and I have just deployed. So when you have deployed any Firebase function or trigger, you can display that Firebase trigger at or function at here on left side of your Firebase console, Firebase functions. So you can check your Firebase functions and at dashboard. So the send notification trigger has been written at here. So when I send any message to any receiver, the notification log is getting updated here. So I will show you how the data is getting updated. So you can see the last updated message time is 11:56. So the data is getting little bit late. So you can get that. I think the data has been got to receiver. The log will update. Just wait for a minute. Yeah, so you are here, you can see that the data is getting updated. So 11:59. So this is the receiver data what you have this is the sender data. FCM push notification for the receiver, message sent successfully. This is just log what you can maintain. I have added it here because I need to show you guys. So this is how the Firebase functions work and triggers work. Once data is added at any user system, the trigger is getting triggered and notification getting sent. So guys, so this is how Firebase messaging has been developed. So we have more to implement it here. Like we have to implement the send files, message files, images, and locations also, text also. There are lot of stuff and unread read message, seen message, deliver status. Lot of stuff we have to implement, but due to some time shortage, we are not able to implement it here. But with basic knowledge, we have implemented it here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the session. So if you have any questions, so let us know. Thank you. So any questions, guys?